and let's do the role play action here. We're going to start with Chris. Chris, if you were going to call me, I would be the person that picks up the phone, and the phone would ring, and I'd pick up and I'd say, hello. What do you say?
I would say, hey, JB, this is Chris. Can I have 6 seconds to tell you why I'm calling, and you can decide whether or not it's worth we talk for 20 seconds more?
I'm not interested. Thanks.
That's totally fine. This is a complete cold call. If I was to solve one problem for you this year, what would it be?
I'm not interested.
That's totally fine then. Is there any reason I should ever follow up with you via email or call you again, or should I just pound sand and go cry in the corner?
Oh, actually, that's that one actually caught me off guard because I feel bad, right? So break that down for me. I said not interested twice, and then you responded 2 different times with 2 different things. And the last one you said really made me feel like, oh shit, like I should probably give this guy a moment, right? So why'd you say what you said?
So one is I'm not going for anything other than like the smallest ask possible, right? I'm asking for 6 seconds. And I can tell you, I love the role play, but I've only ever had one person in about 13 years of doing this tell me no to a 6-second ask. I've had people say, call me back in an hour and I'll give you 6 seconds, but I can count on like probably 2 hands how many times people say no. But given that, you keep pushing it, politely, because why the heck not? Right? Like, who freaking cares? Tomorrow, no one's going to remember. 5 years, no one's going to remember. Like, why not?
I don't even know this person.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you have absolutely nothing to lose. And so on the back end of it, like the giving someone an opportunity, give people opportunities to say no, not yes, right? So it does. And, Brad, I can see you in there saying that 6 seconds takes some serious prep time. All it needs to be for that 6 seconds is, hey, I'm Chris. I work with your peers to solve executive level issues 1 and 2, right? I serve hedge funds, insurance companies, building product manufacturers, and I advise some businesses, right? So I would say we work on, we'll take Acme Brick as an example. We're working with a lot of different contractors right now to tighten up supply chain issues and make sure that they have a high quality product, given that prices are getting out of control. Is that something that you guys have 100% taken care of? Boom.
There's some hyper relevance there too, right? I mean,
yeah.
Pricing is getting out of control. That's something current, and everybody's probably noticing that at that level.
Yeah. So hyper relevant, and that's it. So that's like the 6 seconds. It's not complicated. It's here's the executive level value prop. Do you have that 100 or 105% whenever you, let's say, taken care of? And people will normally give you 20 seconds to have a brief conversation about it. But at the end, right, the pound sand, it's like, yeah, when should I ever reach out to you? Right? Should I pound sand, go cry in a corner, like call my mom? What do you want me to do?
I loved the pound sand. When you said that, I was like, am I being a jerk? Like, that was my immediate thought was, am I being a jerk? All right. I love it. Let's move to William. Big round of applause for Chris. I love the way he handled that. William, if you were going to call me, I'd pick up the phone would ring. I'd be like, hello.
Hey, what's going on, James? Hey, am I calling at the absolute worst time right now?
No, but I'm not interested. Thanks.
Oh, not interested in what?
Is this a sales call?
Actually, I was really calling about an email I had sent you.
Oh, okay. Let's stop right there. So already I feel this like level of curiosity because I almost expect to be let go when I say I'm not interested. Now, right. I feel like let's be honest here. And I want engagement in the chat here. Hit a yes. Give me a yes in the chat if you would have hung up before anything else would have said. Not interested in what? Erica would have hung up. Michelle would have hung up. A couple of people would have hung up. Okay, but not everybody, right? Not everybody. So I think this is interesting. When you said you don't even know why I'm calling, I want to know, why'd you respond the way that you did?
Well, because I just put myself in a situation like Chris, like I hardly have someone tell me to F off or to hang up on me. It's just few, it's few and far between. And so a lot of it is my opener that I bring people's like level down, and I'm always calling about something. So whether it's an email I sent or a video I sent, or I saw I got a notification from my team, they signed up for a webinar, I'm always calling about something. I'm trying to ask questions and spark a little bit more curiosity from them of, hey, I know you know who I am, but let's talk on the phone.
This isn't a priority for me. Will, how do you respond when you get this? And let's do email and call, and then I'll leave social to Chris when he gets it on social.
So I'm Mr. Basic. I could do two things. I could mirror and say, this isn't a priority question mark, or I could, if I want some more information, I'd say, what isn't a priority? Because this isn't a priority is extremely vague and it gives me nothing. So I'd ask, what isn't a priority?
That's good. Gotta have them clarify. And it would be that short, right? It's not, we don't have to overcomplicate it.
No, and I think for what I've learned is like match tone. So if a prospect's hitting you with short one-word answers, you hit them back. If they're hitting you with smiley faces, long paragraphs, I'll hit them back with the same. You're playing to your persona. So I would find, you want to play the short game. What isn't a priority?
And I want to point out, because they're saying it, right? They're typing it in here. There is an emphasis on the is, right? When you use this tone, you're sort of singling out this thing that you called about. Oh, that's not a priority. What is the priority, right? That's what they're kind of saying right there is there's an emphasis there. And you can do it on the phone, or you could capitalize in an email. If you get that in an email from a cold email, somebody's like, oh, this isn't a priority. What is, and you cap the is, right? What is the priority, right? You might get something back that's really important to them that they're struggling with. And if you can play to that, you've won.
Also, just to jump in, like I'd say if I can avoid back and forth, what I'll do is I'll say, hey, so-and-so would love to jump on a quick call. We can do this back and forth via email all day, but I don't view it as productive. And I want this to be a win-win. So how about we jump on a call? And 9 times out of 10, they'll jump on, or they'll send me a long email like, hey, Will, appreciate you wanting me to jump on, but here's all the issues. And then they'll list them out.
Not bad. Chris, I don't want to limit you. I feel like you can talk about it in any context you want, because this is that omnipresent, but somebody says to you, this isn't a priority. How do you typically go about responding?
So the first thing you always want to do, like Will did perfectly, right, is clarify, right? So it's listen, validate, and inspire, right? I stole that from Jim Steele, who's president of Salesforce years ago. I talked to him and he walked me through that. I was like, what the heck? Like, that's genius, right? So the first thing is, I hear it's not a priority. Can you tell me more about why it's not a business priority for you guys, right? And one of the key words there is business, right? You don't want to make it personal. This isn't personal. Some people get all wrapped up in it. It's not. Why? Tell me why this isn't a business priority for you guys right now. And oftentimes, you might not hear anything back from them if it's on a call or at a conference, right? Or I live in Austin, Texas. I run people all the time. You're like great networking opportunities. It says, it's not a priority. It's like, so tell me why it's not an opportunity, and then have a conversation about what is. If I'm going outbound though, right? If I'm going to email people, one of the things I do, and this is a hack, like I hope everybody takes away from this, is publicly traded companies are legally required to list out all of their risks, goals, and objectives for a given year, right? It's literally inside of their annual reports, their 10Ks and their 10Qs. So they literally have to list out. And if they don't list the risks that they're facing as a business and they end up having a financial hardship because of that, the executive directors of that business can be sued in court for a ton of money over this, right? So I'll go through and I'll take 2 seconds and pick up, like if it's small or medium-sized companies, it doesn't matter. Pick out like the 2 or 3 big dogs in the space, read their risk documents. It'll take you a couple of minutes. And then I'll go in and I'll email them and be like, hey, I've been noticing that leaders in your industry are facing XYZ risks, right? Or they're focused on these 2 things, right? All of a sudden, you know what their priorities are going to be, because they tend to trickle down. And it helps open up the conversation a lot.
All right, so this one is good. Chris, I just love everything about you guys, but I'm shocked at how expensive you are. I think your price is just a little too high for me.
Yeah, expensive relative to what?
So this is one of the ones in the chat. Competitors sells theirs for X and you're selling for Y, and I kind of expected X. So it's hard for me to justify the extra spend.
Have you already been working? How long have you been working with a competitor?
So technically I'm not working with them yet. We're
Okay.
still in the
So you're not
shopping
working with
around
them?
phase.
Great. And from everything I've heard, all my interactions with them, they're a great business and they might be the best fit for you, JB. There's just no two ways about it. They might be what's best for you. The thing that I do, right, moving out of like the straight role play, is you need to value stack everything you do. Like, Will, I know you do this. You and I have talked offline about this, right? Where you'll go through and you'll value stack all the different things that your software, your service, your products do for your customers, right? Get your customers, as you go through the process, right, to put it down on paper. So it'd be, JB, we're going to be able to do this. We're going to save you money here. We're going to make you money here. We're going to make you faster here. Put real numbers on all of those, right? And then talk about support and everything else. And then say, is it still about cost, or is it about cost? Is it about cash? Is it about, you just want to tell your boss you're at the bottom dollar? Like, what's really important to you? And make sure that you're really making it about something. Because at the end of the day, like, people, it's different in SMB, but in larger companies, they're more aligned to investment returns than they are to budgets at the end of the day. And there's different things structurally in a deal you can do, right? You might be able to make things more affordable by not taking things off, right? But changing contract structures, right? Laddering deals, things like that. So that would be 50 the first year, 60 the second, 75 the third, whatever it might be. But man, too expensive relative to what, right? And is $10,000 more really a lot of money at the end of the day?
I feel like what you're doing there is you're putting them on the spot to have to tell you who else they're talking to, tell you who else they're working with, tell you where they are in the buying process. And I think it, again, opens the conversation. Objection handling, and you said it the best when you said, like, objections aren't meant to be handled, right? They're meant to be acknowledged. Acknowledging an objection is what helps to open that door to conversation. And that's what we're after. We're after a conversation, a reason, more information, insight, feedback on why their position is what it is when they get those objections, when we get those objections. Will, I've really enjoyed working with you, and I thought we were going to move forward, but that price that you sent me, I just think it's outrageous. I can't pay it.
Okay. Yeah, James, it's been great working with you as well. Likewise. If you don't mind me asking, how do you mean outrageous?
I just expected X, and what I got was Y. And when I saw that number, my heart just sank because I was really excited.
Okay. So you're really excited. The price I sent over was a little bit too high, is what I'm hearing. I'm curious for you, James, what would it take to get this deal done?
Yo, your mirror game is on point. I think the way you spit it back at me is lit up because you don't even hesitate. You're like, nah. And then the question. So there's a pattern.
I do this too many times, guys. I've run too many demos.
Yo, your pattern is that you make a statement and it kind of recaps what was said. And then you immediately follow it with a question that moves the conversation forward. And I just love that very human approach to any objection. It's hard for our brains not to move forward with the conversation when you do that. So I really like that vibe. Shout out to you for that.
Thank you. And I think a lot of it goes with what Chris said, is like detaching from the outcome of a lot of sales reps are so thirsty for the sign that they're starting to pressure, they start to feel that the human aspect has removed, where it's like, I go into a pricing conversation and all I'm doing is recapping what they said. And I'm like, okay, so I'm just a consultant here. I'm not here to sell you. I'm just here to achieve what you're looking to achieve by purchasing our software. So how can we get this done?
There's something that the two of you are avoiding that I think a lot of reps do. And I just picked up on it just a moment ago. Neither of you are justifying the cost. Neither of you are arguing why you are X and competitor is Y. And I think that's a good thing to note, right? Don't go immediately into defense mode when somebody challenges your price, right?
Yeah, there's no reason to. And the other thing is, like, and I know a lot of guys do this already, right? But talking broad strokes about price early on to figure out if it's worth it or not, right? Like, it's going to cost between $25,000 and $40,000 a year to work with us, right? Or it's going to cost us between, depending on deal structure.
Yeah, this is a good one.
It could be 150,000, or it could be set well into the seven figures, right?
Yeah, it depends on the following.
It depends on
right?
things, right? But at the end of the day, what you're trying to do, JB, is you said open the conversation up, is to really start to separate, you know, inside of the sales conversation, separate title from role, right? So that you understand the role the person has inside of that organization and making a decision, and how much power and how much stroke they really have versus just being a VP. Because you know, if Will's selling to a VP, that VP might be able to stroke checks all day long for 50 grand. But if you go one level above them, it's 250. If you go 2 levels above them, it's 700. And I don't know about you guys, but I found that it is almost easier to sell more expensive things than it is to sell cheaper things.
Yes.
Because where money goes, so does attention. And if you're talking about big numbers, it instantly gets more senior executives in a company involved in a deal than if you're talking about some $20,000 thing. If you're talking about a multi-million-dollar contract, all of a sudden you'll hop on calls and there'll be people you had no idea were going to be there.